years ago, I was fed up with what was going on in Washington. Many of you knew that. And I asked for your vote, and you gave it to me. And I appreciate it, because for the last 2 years, well, actually 18 months now, we have been working very, very hard, as you heard with my colleague, Bob Gibbs. And I can tell you that right after I was elected, I had my first town hall meeting right here at Walsh. And I had that meeting and I sat down and I was talking to the people there. Some agreed, some disagreed, as in all town halls, but I was telling them my concerns for the country, my concerns for the direction this country was going, my concerns for my children, my concerns for your grandchildren, my concerns for your future, and what we were doing to them. We were piling on the debt, we were spending too much money, and as a businessman for 28 years, I just didn't think we were going in the right direction. So you gave me that opportunity, and from that day when I was first here and did my town hall 3 days after being sworn in, I have gone across the district and across Ohio talking about everything from our spending habits in Washington and how Washington is broken and all the concerns I've had just in those first few days, but also in the last 18 months. And as we continue to talk about all those issues, it's great to become right back here today and be able to have the honor to have the next Vice President of the United States with us today, right here. I can tell you that I got to meet Congressman Ryan very early on. In fact, he called me during the campaign, but actually, when we got committee assignments, my first committee assignment was the Budget Committee. So I had an opportunity to talk to Congressman Ryan and understand the direction he wanted to take. That was very early on. And I was so happy to hear that he had a vision, that he had a plan, and that he was committed to making sure we took this country in a different direction. And I was so honored to be able to hear that, and knowing at that time that I thought I was going to be serving on a committee with a guy who had the vision and the idea, and guess what? He also had the plan. That plan at the time we were all introduced, it was to bring prosperity back to America, and quite frankly, it was to redirect things. It was to look at our spending habits. It was to look at our debt. And it was to look at a way of changing things. And if you look at that plan, you know, some can condemn it, some can have issues with it, but let's face it. Paul Ryan had a vision and a plan and a direction for the Congress. And we went down there over the last 18 months and have worked very hard to put that plan in place. Now the problem is, Congress is only one part. And what I'm really excited about now is that we can bring a president in President Romney and a vice president in Paul Ryan into the situation and not only continue to move forward with the plan, but to finish the plan. Governor Romney and Paul Ryan, Congressman Ryan, they are looking for solutions. We can get past all that rhetoric. Let's face it, the one thing I've learned in the last 18 months, there's a lot of rhetoric that comes out of Washington. We need plans, we need ideas, we need solutions. We need Romney and Romney and the White House. You know, it doesn't take a lot. Sometimes it just takes getting back to basics. And if you go back to school, you talk about reading, writing, and arithmetic, the 3 R's. Everybody's heard about the 3 R's. Well, here in this district, and by the way, this is the 16th district, we're sitting in it, which is my congressional district, we need the 3 R's. We need Romney, Ryan, and Renacci. We need to make sure that we can take that plan that we've talked about and that Paul Ryan has initiated, and the governor's great background and experience and idea, and we need to turn it in to a redirection. Because we can't keep going down the path. Let's face it, you've heard this before, November is the most important election of this country's lifetime. And look, let's face it, I said it 2 years ago, and I'm sure people have said it in the past, but it is really true this time. Because we have 2 directions we can take. We can continue down the direction with the current administration. We can continue to spend more money. We can continue to increase the debt. We can continue to grow government. We can continue to want to raise taxes. Or we can change our direction. We can change the direction and put the government back in the hands of everyone here. That's really where it belongs. We can go towards a smaller government, which is what we need. Less taxes for everyone, but a vision to get America back working, the economy growing, unemployment numbers down, get the jobs and the economy. That's the important issue, and we can do that. You know, I've said all along, for me as a businessman, it's pretty easy. Let's make sure that we get the regulations away from the backs. It doesn't mean we have to take all the regulations away, but let's make sure that our businesses have a little breathing room. Let's make sure that they understand that they have the opportunity to grow. Let's make sure that when the entrepreneur spends tireless nights and days and works hard and creates that business, that he can be rewarded. You know, you heard the president say, and I know my colleague Bob Gibbs brought it up, that, you know, when you build a business, you really didn't build that.
Right.
I got to tell you, and I always tell people, I mean, I was a businessman for 28 years. I sure didn't see the president sitting in that room with me, especially when I had to make payroll. I didn't see the president sitting in that room when I had to make that mortgage payment. And I didn't see the president in that room when I had to take the risk to make sure that somebody had their paycheck.
That's right.
Now, it's interesting. I do believe that we need to make sure that people have the opportunity. And I look back at my businesses. You know, I can tell you that I started a CPA firm. The gentleman that I started it with now owns it. Those are the opportunities we need to give people. So let's face it, in November, we have a new direction. We have the opportunity. This is the most important election in a lifetime. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the epicenter. Ohio, Stark County. Let's make sure that in the next 82 days, we make a difference. And let's stand with Governor Romney and the next Vice President of the United States, Paul Ryan. It is my pleasure This is the epicenter. It is my pleasure. You stood before. Let's stand again. It is my pleasure to introduce to you the next Vice President of the United States.